MC.
Thanks, I'm Dave, very nice to meet.
Dave, what it do? You can call me dog. Let me just check your sheet.
No problem, sir, let me just say, I'm a big fan of the shit that y'all made. I can't lie, I've been thinking about this all day.
All good, there's a reason that we call Dave. Let me start with your...
Number one on the iTunes charts. I mean, it's amazing. It's, you know, everything was going at like a very accelerated rate. Like my first album going number one like that on iTunes, having the features that I have on it, like people like respecting it so fast. It's like been so quick. It's hard to really fully appreciate. I'm so forward thinking. Like I'm so driven to become what I feel like I'm capable of becoming, that it's hard for me to appreciate the steps along the way. You know what I mean? But to take a step back and think about it, it's crazy. Like it's crazy that this started out as me trying to get noticed in my room for being funny, to like starting my album with like a song with Snoop Dogg.
I must have wanted this a lot, I had something to choose.
Look at that, I can see there's something to prove up in your ass.
Yeah, I guess.
That's enough of the past.
So, you know, every song is its own story. The thing about my songs are, there's not many like just open 16s for just someone to come in and just rap about whatever they want to rap about. Like I have pretty conceptual songs, so with all that in mind, like, you know, there's specific needs for specific songs. Like the professional rapper, the job interview, I felt like it had to be really like a legendary older rapper, like that I'm like the young guy and he's the boss. So, you know, and Snoop was my number one candidate. So I reached out to him and he was into it and it was like, great, you know, like why look around anymore? Like Snoop's the perfect guy for this. A song like Save That Money, I wanted to kind of play off of irony and have like a rapper that's normally known for rapping about like a lavish lifestyle be on a song called All About Saving Money, like a Rich Homie Quan. Like his name's Rich Homie Quan. It's like he was my absolute number one for that too. We got him. And then the Fetty Wap is like, you know, that was strategic in the sense that there was a certain sound that I know is really good for like the radio. And like I love everything Fetty Wap does. I think there's a reason everything that he does goes to the radio because he's so catchy. So like he was my ideal guy because everything he does from a hook perspective is great. A song like Personality, same deal. You know, I want to have a hook with like a cool singer on it, but I don't want it to be like a Chris Brown or Justin Bieber type of singer where they don't necessarily rely on their personality to get girls because they're just like gorgeous, you know? So I wanted to have like a guy who probably felt like lived life like me and like wasn't necessarily like the guy that every girl at the bar like looks at immediately and is so attracted to, someone like T-Pain. T-Pain's like a legend to me, like he invented auto-tune, or at least popularized it. And auto-tune's so important to rap at this point. And so he was just perfect. Like I've always loved T-Pain, and he's got like a great comedic sensibility to him. Molly, I needed like a singer, and I didn't know what kind of vibe for the singer should be. Like I didn't know if it should be like R&B, but I ended up the lead singer of Panic at the Disco, Brendan Urie, like tweeted about me complimentary wise, and I thought about him, and he's got such a good voice. And I thought, why not try him out on this song? And he's like, as soon as he sung, like the whole room was like, this is the guy. So he just fit perfectly. And there's one song called Oh Well. There's this rap. The only person that's not bigger than me that I like from like a numbers perspective is this guy Jace from 2-9, who I just love. Like he's one of my favorite rappers. Everything he does is great to me. Like I haven't heard him put out a bad verse. And I've always loved like his sound is so cool. And I tweeted like a lyric of his or something, and he responded like favorably. And then I was like, "Dude, I want you on a song." And I wanted to make like a club, like a banger with him. And I still do, but I had this one song that I had an open verse for, and I thought maybe it's like a different vibe for him because he can rap, like that's a thing, and he killed it in my opinion. And I guess that's about it from the feature perspective. There's Hannibal Burst as an interlude, and he's just hilarious. So that was an easy call.
Shit's red, and I can't text and I can't check what my fans said. I get mad stressed.
Starting from like the middle of high school towards the end of college, I feel like all of my life, like the priorities were built around building my resume. Like I had to do really well in high school to get into a good college, to get a better job, get good grades, get a better job, then have a better job, and like, you know, everything was about just the resume. And like I feel like I was never encouraged to do anything from like a risk-taking perspective. Like everything kind of felt like, we've set this life up for you, now you better go execute this life in the best way possible, or you know what I mean? So I think the one thing I like that my album does is that just show people that you have one life. So it's like, why resort to a plan B? You're just working and you're doing well at the company and you get promoted and you kind of like it, but it's not like you don't wake up every day in like euphoria. So it's always been like my main inspirational type thing. And then I just like, I just keep it real. Like, like I've had jobs, and then this was like my next job. And it's like, it's funny, no one treats rap like a job. It's not just a job, like it's a passion. It's like, it's everything. I love it. But to treat it like a job is funny in an ironic sense. So that was kind of my idea going into it.
People acting like I ain't a fucking criminal. Like I ain't never doing dirt, though. Probably cause
what I wanted out of this album was two things. One, to be diverse, like musically. Like one song not sounding anything like the next. Because I don't see a lot of rappers that like are going, like I feel like I kind of dip into like every type of lane to some extent. So I wanted to really showcase my ability to rap in different settings, but then also the same thing applies to the levels of my personality. Like I could not, like I a lot of times I put out some serious songs and people seem to be like, man, I wish you would do more serious songs. Like I love your serious stuff, and just hearing that made me more confident in the serious side of things. So it felt like I needed to have some serious stuff too. That I needed to have some stuff that shows that I'm a competitive human being. It's like that's what I love about rap, is the competitive spirit. If people were to describe me in one word, if they only had one word, they'd probably say funny, but if they had 5 words, they'd say other words too. And I thought I'd want to have people be able to have more than one word.
Brah, LD.
Probably the song Brah, just because like I felt like I just made such an effort to make like every single statement count, like from like a cleverness perspective and like a flow perspective. Like I didn't waste any lines. I think there's like the whole time, it's like 4 minutes and 20 seconds where I felt like every single moment had to end with something clever. And I don't think I've had a song like that. So probably that song from a lyrical perspective I'm most proud of. Pillow talking, because it's just crazy. It's like 11 minutes, and I just love the idea behind it of just like, because there's just so, like I've been in bed, like after, there's been a few times where I've like hooked up with a girl, and then when you're afterwards, you talk, and you don't really know each other, and then you just end up it's just like weird, because you find out about each other, but you don't really, so I just felt like there was a few things to hit on in there that like I've had conversations like where a girl was a vegetarian and like I just rub people the wrong way by accident sometimes. And I think it was just a funny, like, to be in like a very awkward dynamic conversation. And the whole thing like dips into so many different places, like whether it's religion or space or vegetarianism. I give my brain a verse. And the concept of it being 11 minutes is something I'm proud of. I don't think anyone has an 11-minute song that can keep people's attention.
She like, can you reach that shelf for my phone? I'll take care of the
Like I really mapped it out beforehand, and what I was going for is like to have the girl have these principles that a lot of people that we like in society, you can't live without seeing people that have those principles. And I wanted it to connect in a way where it could move from one thing to another, to where the end, like I'm taking her own principles and using them against her. Like in this case, it's like she's really religious and she believes everything is, it's like God has a plan, but she's opposed to us eating meat, even though if, that's your God at work to some extent. Like if we're capable of manipulating animals to the point where we can breed them and hunt them to eat, why is that improper? Like that's God, so it's just like, I just like the idea of having her be so principled in such a serious way, and then being able to use all of her principles against her to show that she doesn't even know what she believes in.
She like, I don't believe in the war, in aliens. Oh, hold up, wait.
I do believe in aliens. I think it's just because my mindset is, what if the universe is really an infinite thing that nobody knows anything about? Why would we be the only thing? So my thinking is like, how advanced are these aliens? I have a feeling that if they're coming to us, as opposed to us going to them, they're more advanced. And then I just wonder, like, what's the gap like? Like, are they gonna come and just like literally, it's like a field day, where it's like it's easy. They have like these weapons that just like make everyone like evaporate. You know what I mean? I think America would certainly band together. And my thinking, because of the character, the girl's brother was in the army, so I was asking her like, does our army stand a chance? Like, would we be able to pull this off as Earth? And even if we couldn't pull it off, like, how hard like would we go? Like, would it be a fight? Like, are other planets an easier, better fight than Earth? I just think the whole thing is so absurd. Like, no one knows anything about, like, in terms of the grand scheme of everything, no one really knows anything. And I feel like nobody really talks about that.
That been Brah? Who run the whole operation? That been Brah?
Can you just get back to the issue here?
Like, loosely. But, and then, I have tons of philosophical conversations about aliens, And I always, when I'm talking to someone really religious, even if it's like a friendly discussion, I always want to know their take on dinosaurs. So like I've had like, it's just like, if the earth was really all about God and humans and that whole dynamic, it's just, the whole dinosaur thing just seems like a really random occurrence, you know what I mean? Why would dinosaurs have existed? Like if God's really pulling all these strings, why make the dinosaurs just to kill them? If like the whole thing is kind of based around like humans and like whatever's like on Earth now. Like they really just existed and then no longer did. It's just bizarre.
Red gang got it all wrong. We ain't about to go and spend money just to flex on the weed.
I hope that it's really appreciated. Like the unique. There's two things I want to be appreciated. One is the diversity of rapping, because I think it's unique that someone can do a lot of things, and I want to, I guess, get credit for it. That I don't just rap a certain way. You know what I mean? And then two, I want people to really respect the approach to it, because I think it is relatively refreshing in the context of rap. And you know, I'm hopeful that the whole world buys in and thinks it's special, and the rap community buys in, and I can, in my next album, everybody that's in the game I can do songs with, and like I want to be a part of that. Like my next album, like I'd love to have a feature on like almost every song. You know what I mean? Like a very conceptual album still, but like I just haven't, like I feel like I'm in a unique position where I can create stuff with these other artists in ways that nobody else is capable of doing with them. So I want to use that to my advantage and to their advantage. Like it's different. It's like a different look for them too.
Let me freak, God damn it.
Let Me Freak, you know, is just, I felt like every rapper, singer, like needs a song when they're just like wooing the opposite sex. Like everybody has one, and that was mine. And what I like about that song is there's different way, like the landscape of trying to convince a girl to sleep with you when you're a single guy out at a bar is a totally different animal. It's a world that's like worth discussing. But there's also the world of like you have a serious relationship and convincing that girl to have sex. It's like both every guy or girl, if the roles were reversed, experiences them. And I just thought showing like the plight of like, oh man, I just want to have sex right now, from like both of those ways. And obviously there's one where I'm really old as well, but that was more just like me trying to be outlandish. But I just thought that was a unique approach.
First of all, this shit about me. I ain't made this shit for y'all, that's the damn thing.
One of the issues I run into is like I haven't had a struggle. Like my life has not been a struggle, you know? And I want to rap competitively. I want to rap angry. Like I want to have like a chip on my shoulder. But there's no reason to have that chip. You know, like the one thing I could do is I could rap about rappers, like being like, you know, you rappers like don't matter to me, like, but that's like a really like haterish mindset, and I just don't like. My issue is I just have no general antagonist. So that song, I wanted to rap, like I just wanted an excuse to rap like aggressively, and I kind of took the angle of like, who is my enemy? Where I rap aggressively and competitively, and by the end I realized that like. If I had to have any person be like my antagonist, it would probably be me. Like if I ever am like mad at something, it's usually because of my own doing or something. So it's like, I guess I learned that I'm my own worst enemy, and like if I ever, maybe like that's the first person to rap about. But there's a certain kind of rap that every other rapper gets to rap about, because it's like they're opposing, like they came from like some sort of struggle, and they can speak to how they overcame that struggle in like a nothing can hold me back type of way. And I think it's pretty Bush League if I'm trying to say that like I had a struggle.
I ain't parking at a less than meter green, homie. Haircut several months in between, homie.
I think if there was one misconception that like rubs me the wrong way, it's that people think I'm making fun of things just because I'm making jokes about them in like a personal way. Like I'm the kind of guy who I make a lot of jokes throughout my day. You know what I mean? And some of them are completely insensitive. Like I understand that. But it's a very equal opportunity. There's no one specific. I don't target anybody. When something's funny to me, and I believe in it, and it's capable of making someone laugh, and it does make someone laugh, I think that is an art in its own form, and it should be appreciated as such. And that, I don't know. I guess in rap, for example, there aren't many people that like. It's a different angle. Like whereas with South Park, they can make a really insensitive comment, and people laugh because they recognize the context. Whereas the context of rap might be different, and people aren't used to someone making jokes in that context. But really all I'm doing is taking a great context that I love and just doing another thing that I love and making a joke in it. And it's not me doing anything other than that. Like I have no ill will towards anyone. So I guess that's the misconception. Is just like the when I am making a joke, people can take it a certain way. Yeah, I go in. I'm always trying to prove myself, and I think it's easier for me to prove myself comedically. Like it comes more naturally, and people are expecting it. But I think I get more gratification doing it as like a spitter, so to speak, because it's unexpected, and it did take a lot more work. Like being funny, I guess, comes relatively naturally to me. Being a good rapper, no. So I guess I have more pride in the cultivation of that craft.
I'm looking back like hope. I hate your demeanor.
In 5 years, I see myself, if everything works out, like a very important rapper, like one of like the high, like the you know, I suppose highest selling. Not that I really care about that, but just like known as like a really important rapper and respected as such, and that being half of it, and like also being really respected and known for being like a TV presence and writer, maybe movies too. But I guess I want to be like a movie/TV star. I don't think I'm ever going to necessarily convince the world that like my rap music is like it's going to be hard to convince people that like, you know, I'll ever be like a Jay-Z, you know what I mean? But I do think I can do things so differently that I could change things to some extent. Like I could shift a culture.
New correspondence is going through all of these wonderful compliments. Used to be
I'm too nice like a motherfucker that fell in love with the boo twice as in double as fuckable as he was. And dude tries to be subtle and get her cuddling, venting her troubles and getting her truffles and ending up befuddled when she don't fuck him. Someone tell him, listen, you bugging. She's never fucking the pedestrian muggle like you, so wild the trouble. But he rebutted with, I think I just love her, so I would shudder at the thought of being anything other than nice. I'm that nice. It's like such a long-winded way to say you're nice. It's just like the concept of a guy who like loves a girl and he does everything for her, but everyone's like, she's way out of your league. No matter how nice you are, she's not gonna like you. But the guy's just that in love that he knows no other way to be anything but nice to her. That's how nice I am as a rapper.
But you don't know.